Racing Board. There's a Cheney in horse racing. You better look out. Don't go hunting with that dude.
He'll shoot you
right in the face and then say it was an accident.
That's right.
But in any case, Mr. Cheney, who shoots people in the face accidentally, as she writes so that she wants to make sure that with the investigation of Medina Spirit, which I read is starting today, the California Horse Racing Board, that she wants to make sure that nobody exerts outside influence. I wonder who that might be.
Yeah, I wonder who, too.
The name probably starts with one letter and ends with the same letter with an O in the middle. You think maybe that's what she's thinking about?
I think she is, yes.
Yes, indeed. All right. So, but in any case, she wants to make sure that it's a clean and transparent investigation. And and we here at Horse Racing Today want to also see a clean and transparent investigation. And the links to all these stories will be over at horseracingtoday.net once we get that site going. Another really cool thing today, Terry, over at Tampa Bay Downs. Did you check this out? This is kind of like my racehorse without any money.
Yeah, I did the same. I did the same thing at Churchill Downs when about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, they had a owners club or whatever you want to call it, but you did have to spend money for it. But I had a great time. We got a horse that did really well, won almost $1 million. And I won a lot of money on it going and playing it. So it was really fun. So I think this is a good thing to do. So.
Yeah, so if you're in the Tampa Bay Downs area, you have to go to the track on Saturday. You fill out and deposit in the bin your selection for the Tampa Bay Downs Owners Club. You have to pick the winner in race number 10, I think. So you can head over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. We'll tell you who we think is going to win, right?
Okay.
And you can head on over there on Saturday and find out who we think will win on Saturday for race number 10. Take a look at our picks, our top 4 picks, our alternative pick, and maybe you'll find one if you're at Tampa Bay Downs. But if you hit the right winner, you're going to get a certificate of ownership. And then every time that horse runs, you get free entry. As well as a program. You'll get a mutual voucher. I don't know how much money is on that voucher. They don't say. An ownership pin, and then you get discounts. So it sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. And then if your horse wins, you get to go to the winner's circle.
Yeah, it does sound fun. It's a little different than what I was speaking about, but it sounds like a really good thing to do. I think it's going to get a lot of interest from a lot of people. So.
Yeah, if I were there, I would absolutely I would be there. No question about it.
Absolutely.
I would spend my Saturday trying to pick the winner and race. I would have 4 different names and put all, however many horses are there, I'd have that many different names, different entries, different email addresses. I'd be sure to win one. I don't know that that's what you want to do. It's probably against the rules. And I would never encourage you breaking the rules, Terry. Ever.
Me neither.
So are you interested in writing a movie, Terry?
I don't know. Maybe about a.
Sometimes life itself writes its movie, right?
That's right, and this is one that could happen. I guess it is happening. So
it has happened. This is a crazy story down in Australia.
Yeah,
a cocaine kingpin, Damien Flower, got into horse racing, and if you read this story, and again, we'll link to it over at Horse Race. I mean, if you are a playwright, this is a story, dude. Yeah, because this guy and his buddy. They worked at the local airport at Sydney as baggage handlers. Right. He tried to get a position as like a hand around the what do they call it, like the
hot walker or whatever.
But he's just kind of like a stagehand in the back trying to help out with cleaning the horses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get it because he couldn't pass the character test. So then he and his buddy scheme over at the baggage handling to do all this trafficking. And then they start coming into money. So they start buying horses. And the next thing you know, they're sponsoring $1.7 million races and are big shots in the horse racing business.
Yeah, I know it's something else. I mean, how can you go from not being accepted to be a groom or a horse handler in the back
stable
barn,
hand, that's what
stable hand, to being really involved in the top part of the horse racing? It just makes no sense to me.
It's mind-boggling. No?
It is, yeah.
But it's almost, like I said, it's a movie. I mean, you think about it. Some guys, baggage handling, next thing you know, they blow up their own horses. They're living the fast life. They're Hollywood, so to speak. Yep. And then the next thing you know, Terry, they are in jail. Right?
Yeah. It could make a good comedy, too. You could make that into a good comedy. You know,
Yeah, I could see that being fun.
Yeah.
But, that's the thing about horse racing, any kind of gambling. It's going to attract people who have, who the lure of easy money, right?
Oh,
In
yeah, absolutely.
in the words of the Eagles, or was that Don Henley? I don't know. In any case, Terry, easy money. Let's talk about easy money. How did your best bets do yesterday?
Well, this month my second pick's been doing much better than my first pick, and yesterday was no exception. I liked at Tampa Bay Downs, the fifth race, and I liked number 6, Jamma Dillon, but Jamma Dillon didn't win. But number 2,
Gemma Dillon wasn't willing.
no, number 2, Bridge Keeper. He did. He won. Paid 780, 440, and 340. And number 9, my third pick, ran second, and he paid 540 and 380. And the exacta paid 1870 for $1. So if you boxed the 3 horses for $6, you would have collected $18.70. Also, pick 5. If you use my 3 horses in the pick 5, and then at the end there threw in the 8 that we had to the side, you would have hit the pick 5.
We'll talk about that in a minute, Terry.
All righty.
So today you're at Aqueduct race number 7, which is probably going to start in about 6 minutes. Compliments of my computer today. So let's talk about your best bet today. Aqueduct race number 7, Terry. Who do you like and why do you like him?
I like number 4, Florida Gator. He ran second in his last race at Churchill Downs and now returns to New York to try Aqueduct. Kendrick Camus won his last race and is back in the irons to do it again. And I'm going against a really hard favorite, I think. The entry 1A, Hagler and Life is Great. They both won their last race, and they'll be hard to beat. But Life is Great has also won a race at Aqueduct at today's distance. But I think I can get them with number 4. And then number 3, Bold Leader.
If not, you have them already, though, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Bold Leader, has finished in the money 3 out of 4 races and cuts back to 7 furlongs, which may help his chances. And I like doing 3 because number 1, if you want to play the exacta, you've got 3 horses to box, a trifecta. You can do that also. And if you're playing pick 3s and that sort of thing, it gives you some good selections there.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about yesterday's pick 4, Terry. As you mentioned, we were going to donate the money, had we won, to the Jockeys Thoroughbred Club Association GoFundMe. I hope that you saw that link yesterday and that you personally went ahead and took up our challenge, where one of your wagers for the day, committing to putting the winning money into that pool. Terry and I unfortunately lost because in the 8th race, or the final race, our final pick was between the 2 and the 8. And I had mentioned that the 8 horse was one that has first-time Lasix, showed some early pace. That angle, folks, just if you have a horse racing handicapping book, please take it out right now, grab a pen and paper, and write this in there. Horses that show early speed and then fade and then subsequently get Lasix for the first time or maybe the second time, that fade goes away a lot of times. They just keep on running, and that's exactly what we saw yesterday with that 8 horse. No horse had wired the field that a mile and a 16th on the turf yesterday. And what happens? The first horse, first time Lasix, the speed and fade angle, gets that Lasix, and he just kept on all the way to the finish wire, Terry. And what's interesting is when you were running, I was watching the fractions, and I was like, these fractions are too fast. The 8's not going to hold up. This bodes well for the closers, which was the track bias. And then as they came out of that turn, he extended it. I'm like, you know what? This race is over.
Yep,
unfortunately. So you know what they say, Terry, right?
No, I don't know. What do they say?
No good deed goes unpunished.
Oh, that's true.
So yesterday we had a 50-50 chance to do a good deed. And what do? We picked the wrong one, so we get punished for picking the wrong one.
Yeah.
Today, let's hope we can pick all the right ones, Terry. And this is a matter of chance today. And I guess it was our destiny, but we're going to do Turfway Park, which starts late. So
that's right.
Fortunately, it does not impact our Fly 4 today.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We should have had it, man. We nailed it yesterday. And Terry was away with some family, spending some, important time with family and stuff. And I texted him. My text was, "You got to be kidding me." And he's like, "Why? I can't see what's happening on TV." And I told them, the 8 horse that we had won, and they paid $27. I mean, we called it out. So let's try again today, Terry, to see if we can nail it today, Terry. Ready?
All right. Sounds good to me. Let's
So
get
Turf
going.
Paradise, race number 5, which I think starts around 6 o'clock Eastern time. I'm not 100% positive. This race, Terry, is 1.1 miles on the all-weather track because that's what they have down there at Turfway Park. They've run 9 races. 5 of them were won by stalkers and closers. But of the 4 horses that did manage to win the race near the front, 3 of them went wire to wire. In fact, this week or last week, the bias was all speed because they had 5 of those races and 3 of them went wire to wire. And it looks like there's an inside out bias so far, but I don't have really many inside horses today. So I'm going to go against the bias. What do you like?
I like number 6, Catchy. Drops in class today. And, its first race at Woodbine, it came out of the gate, hit the gate when it came out, but and broke pretty close to the lead and ended up running second by 3.5 lengths. So he's got decent workouts, and he can improve because this is a bit longer distance. So
what I like about this horse, Terry, is he ran at Woodbine. And when you look at the different surfaces that horses run on, sometimes horses like dirt, sometimes they like turf. And a lot of horses that like dirt don't really like that. All weather seems to be a whole different issue. In fact, in getting ready for our Players Edge podcast tonight with track announcer Peter Aiello from Gulfstream Park, I asked him in the Q&A, what's up with the new all synthetic turf there at the synthetic Tapeta track. And he said the one thing about it is the dirt and the grass tend to favor speed. The Tapeta, he said, completely different. You just don't know where the horse is going to come from. So it just goes to show you, at the same track where dirt and grass have the same bias, the Tapeta has something completely different.
Yeah, that's really odd, isn't it?
Yes. So what I like to see is a horse who has some experience over an all-weather or a synthetic track. And in this case, Catchy has done that. This race, Terry, I forgot to mention, is a maiden race, maiden special weight of $62,000. So we have a bunch of first-time starters in here too. And as you know from doing the live shows with me, I look at these races that have maiden special weights, maiden special weight races where you have first-time starters and you have experienced horses. And I like to take the first-time starters and put them in one bucket, and the experienced horses and stick them in another bucket, and say to myself, which bucket do I think is going to win? I honestly think, and I am probably completely wrong on this, but I feel like the horses that have experience already have kind of showed their hand, with maybe the exception of the 6 horse, maybe some others. But I feel like the first-time starters, there's going to be one in here that scares the hell out of us as they go along. And for me, that horse is the 5 horse. And it was a real tough call between it and the 7 horse. Mm-hmm. But Sign of Peace, if you look at that horse, is training fairly well at Turfway Park, which tells me it's a horse that likes the synthetic surface. And a lot of these other horses really haven't had a workout on a synthetic surface. So I think Sign of Peace, whose trainer doesn't really win that much, Brendan Walsh, on the first time off the start. But when I look at the workouts, Terry, and then I look back at the family history, Declaration of War, and I can't remember, Avar City, they've done well. Declaration of War actually ran, I think, at Turfway Park and did fairly well there too. But I think that was before it went to all weather. So I do like Sign of Peace as the first-time starter, it and the 7. So I'm going to put them both in there, Terry, and I'm going to leave one more pick to you. So which one?
Okay. Well, I like the 5 also because Smokin' Joe Talamo's on that horse. So
all right,
that makes a lot of good sense to me. And then I like number 10. He's a deep closer so far. It looks like Valentina's Day. He has a really good jockey who right now is just tearing it up. He's won 32% of his mounts at this meet. Mm-hmm. And he has the highest last speed rating. He drops in class today. And he ran a good third on the dirt in his only start against tougher horses. So,
and it was on a good track. So it was an off track. So
right.
Many times we talk about off tracks being can be a indicator for horses that like to run later on turf. So when they're making their debut on turf, but it can also be a little bit of a hint that a horse might like a synthetic turf.
Yeah.
So in this case, I agree with you. Valentina Day was also in my selections. You'll see that when we do the hot dog. As far as the 7 Holiday Princess, that's another horse that's working out very well. It worked out, but at Keeneland last time. So Keeneland's a legit track, right? Top notch track in the country.
Yep.
And it ran 4 furlongs and 47-4, which if you look at some of the other horses in this race that have actually raced, some of them haven't been able to run 47-4 in a real race.
Yeah.
So I feel like the 7 is the other first-time starter. So we have 2 experienced horses, 2 first-time starters, and you know which one we didn't put in, Terry?
Number 2.
Correct. The favorite, the morning line favorite.
Yeah.
So we'll put him off to the side in case there's a scratch, or maybe we can bring him in a little bit later on.
Yeah, and he's dropping in class. He's got a great workout on December 10th, 47-1. He was second best out of 44. So, or she was, I correct myself. These are females. I keep calling them he's, but they're
Fillies.
Females. Yeah.
They're the fillies. We're the
They're
fillies.
the fillies, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenneth McPeat is the trainer, who's normally a pretty darn good trainer. So,
all right. So let's move off to race number 6, Terry. Race number 6 is 1 mile. They've run a few more races at that distance. This one is 25 races, 13 of them, Terry, won by stalkers and closers. So a slight bias towards the off the pace horses, but not necessarily one that's I would call a major advantage. 6, though, of those horses did win wire to wire. And once again, we see horses on the inside having an advantage. So I do like a couple of inside horses here, at least one of them anyway. But you tell me who you like first.
I like number 1, Taken to the Cleaners. Won his last race by 19 lengths. And he's actually she's won 3 out of 5 starts in her career and ran second the other one. The only race that she didn't fare very well in was actually a $100,000 handicaps race. So I think she's got some pretty decent workouts. The trainer wins 18% of the time when he brings a winning horse back for the next race. So
I'm going to jump over my my first pick and go to my second pick, which is number 6, Isha My Flower.
Okay.
So you look at Isha My Flower, Terry. What do you see on the in the past performances there?
Well, I see it likes the speed, and it's getting late, and faded. It's getting Lasix for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And then I look back at the races in the horse ran overseas and
Sweden and Norway.
Yeah. Yes. So when it was running there too, I noticed that when I looked them up, that the horse liked to be forwardly placed as well. So I'm expecting, but the horses run on turf. But as I've mentioned before many times, turf can translate to very well over to the synthetic surface. So I'm expecting it to translate very well here. That speed, Lasix, angle, I'm not going to miss it today, Terry. So if the 6 horse wins and we don't have them, I would really rip my hair out today.
Yeah, well, I'll go along with this. Yeah.
Who else do you like?
I like number 3, Bourbon Social. And I like this horse. It won its last race. Again, speed on top. It won it by 5 3/4 lengths. The trainer wins 26% of the time on the third race after a layoff. Mm-hmm. And, it's had halfway decent workouts, although the one in October 13th was a bullet work, which was a 45-4. That's pretty quick for 4 furlongs.
It is. My problem with this horse, Terry, if you will, is Bourbon Social's coming from Mountaineer and Thistledown.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the favorite, Made in Italy, is coming from Belmont, Delaware, and running at some of the better tracks over in Europe. And then when you look at its over in Britain and Italy, when you look at its runs on the so I went and again looked over at its races over in England and Italy to see how Made in Italy actually ran on all-weather track. This is another horse, Terry, that likes to be forwardly placed. All but one time that it was on an all-weather track, the horse got to or was right off the pace. So to me, this is only a 6-horse field. It's the skinniest field in our sequence. I feel like this is the leg we have to have only 3 picks in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's between the 5 and the 3. Which one would you rather go with?
You know, I like the 5. It's part of my pick, so let's take the 5.
And I just feel like a horse coming from Belmont that ran a higher speed figure at Belmont is probably going to be a little bit better than a horse coming from Mountaineer.
Yeah.
I could be wrong because this might be the second day in a row where we have a 50-50 choice and we end up picking the wrong one.
It could be.
But again, I did look at all of Made in Italy's runs overseas, and then it was forwardly placed in a lot of them. And then it came back in, and I expect that you're going to see it do pretty well here. So race number 7, Terry, yet another distance. This one is 6.5 furlongs, 12 races so far. And here's where it flips to speed, Terry. 9 of the 12 races were won by speed horses, with 3 of them going wire to wire. Most of your winners either came from the rail, about a quarter of them, and then they ran 4th through 7th post position. In the last 5 races, 2 of the last 5 races, last week's races, the rail horse won 2 of them. So it looks like there's an absolute inside bias here. The one horse, which is My Money, its partner Off We Go, stablemate entry, is not in the race. And the My Money did scratch into the race because it was also eligible, but it's not breaking from the 1 spot. It's breaking from the 13th post.
Right.
Whereas the 2 horse, Tis Splendid News, is your rail horse and one that's going to be lightning fast out of the gates.
Absolutely. It's my top pick. And it's, the rail's winning a 25% clip.
40% last week.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And trainer's winning 39% of the time when he goes from dirt to all weather. This horse actually loves to get on top and go all the way. And he's going a shorter distance here, or she is, which is going to really help her case. Also, the prime power is 128, which is the best in the race.
Yeah, and Wesley Ward tends to do fairly well off of layoffs. So coming back with a horse that was the favorite, but that was way back in April. So I don't really put a whole lot of stock into that because it's been away for a long time.
Yeah.
Looking at the workouts at Keeneland are pretty sharp.
Yeah.
If you look at that debut, that was at Kentucky Downs, which we all know is a very difficult track to run at, right, Terry?
Yes.
And that was on turf. And on the turf, it ran a very good, sharp race right out of the box. So I expect Tis Splendid News will take to the track very well at the all-weather track, get to the lead and be the one they all have to chase down, where speed really wins, and speed on the rail has been dynamite.
Yep. So
for me, Terry, the horse that I think is going to challenge that horse, Terry, out of the gate, and this is a little bit of a price. I don't know if you have this horse. That's Almadrina. This horse is coming in from Britain.
Mm-hmm.
As a race, kind of run on in 2021, it ran on kind of what I would call a junior circuit tracks over there. And I don't like downgrading them, so I'm trying to come up with a better way to describe tracks that aren't as high level as the other ones. So junior circuit seems like a pretty good way to call it. Yeah. Anyway, when this horse ran on all weather tracks, 3 out of the 4 times, Terry, this horse wanted to be on the lead. One time it just got off to a sluggish start and didn't get on the lead. So it's a speed horse, Terry. And you look up here and it's got that black L. That tells me that's a speed horse that's getting first-time Lasix. It has pressed for the lead on all weather. It's going to press for the lead again today, Terry. I think the 8 horse is the horse in this field that if any horse is going to challenge the 2 horse out of the gate, it's going to be Almadrina.
Yeah, I like it too. It's my actually my 3rd pick.
Yeah,
it's got really good workouts. But there's another one in here that I think we should really pay attention to, and it's an angle that I see all the time. It's where you have an entry and they scratch part of the entry, and the other entry seems to always do very well. So I like My Money, number 1, even though he's coming out of the 13 hole. You're in second last time against at 6.5 furlongs, and his jockey's winning at a 20% clip. The trainer wins 18% of the time on allowance races, and he has the best all-weather speed among today's starters.
Okay. So if you like that horse, Terry, then you have to like another one.
Yes.
Do you know which one that is?
And let me look here. We're in the 7th race, right? Number 12.
Well, maybe number 12. But for me, I think if you like that horse, you have to like another horse in here. And that is the 11 horse, the 10 horse.
Okay.
Midway's Angel. Last time out against my money was actually the betting favorite, Terry.
Yeah.
But it got off to a goofy start and then never really recovered because it got 4 wide. And it basically ran around it basically stayed where it was around the track. It started off 4 1/4 lengths, ended up third by 3 3/4 lengths. So improved a half a length, but had to run 4 wide all the way around the track, Terry. If this horse gets off to a better break, this is another angle that we've been playing lately. And that's horses that were bet very well last time out. Again, this horse was basically between the 5-2 and 2-1 favorite against my money. And to the inside of my money showed speed. In its debut, it showed speed. So I think if you like the one horse, you have to like the 10 horse. It showed speed, and guess what it's getting for the first time today, Terry?
Lasix.
Lasix, indeed.
Yep.
So we're going to overplay that angle today. Early speed with Lasix, it looks like. Huh? Fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah.
Fool me twice, shame on me some more.
That's right.
So if there is a scratch, who else would you want to put in here?
Number 12, Thundering Creed. I like Thundering Creed simply. Let me get back here. I like it because it actually ran a decent race, 2 races back in June. Come in from Churchill Downs. It drops in class today. The trainer wins 19% of the time on the second race after a layoff. And it's got Joseph Rocco in the saddle, who's not doing real well, but I do like him as a jockey. And he's got decent workouts.
Yeah, that last race, it was a pretty decent race. He had some pretty good 6 furlong times there, 110. So I feel like the horse did run a very good race last time out, got off to some better fractions, was decently bet. I don't like the fade at the end. And then if you look at the horse's races, Sands won, and that was its maiden win at 100,000, which is a good win.
Yeah.
But minus that race, in 4 out of 5 races, this horse completely backed up.
Yeah,
5 out of 6. So we'll take the one chance, I guess, here, Terry, that it is indeed not going to make it the second time where it hangs on, especially since I feel like it has a lot of speed to its inside, which this horse looks to me like it wants to be up on the lead. And when it doesn't get the lead, it looks like it gets discouraged. And I don't think it's going to get the early lead. I think the 2, the 8, and the 10 will probably all be in front of it, which may or may not encourage that horse. The last race of the day, Terry, let's hope we can go home a winner. We got 4 spots to fill in. Again, 1 mile on the main track. Same thing on the all-weather track. Same thing as race 6, 25 races, almost an even split between speed and closers. 6 would have gone wire to wire. And, Terry, inside out once again. The inside post seemed to work. There are a couple scratches in here that screwed up my picks. So I have 3 picks. I'm going to start with number 8.
All right.
Oh, you're happy about that?
Yeah.
Why are you giving me the all right?
Because I love that horse. She's got the highest last speed rating. She ran a really good race last race, finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. She's done pretty good on the workouts. And her name's Saudi Daisy. That my mother's name was Daisy. So
that's an absolute winner. You can put that one in the books, folks.
That's it.
Put it on the board. Yes, as Hawk Carlson used to say here in Chicago for the White Sox. Yeah, this horse is moving from dirt to the all-weather track. So it'd be interesting to see how it takes. Sophie Doyle rode the horse last time out. She was one of our guests on the Players Edge podcast. So we're always rooting for our friends. I'm going to go with a little bit of a long shot, Terry. I mean, a real long shot. And that's number 7. Fairy Carey.
Yeah, Fairy Carey. Yeah.
So there's really nothing there to look at that race that you say, oh my God, why would I take that horse? But it did show some early pace in its first start, got out of the gates pretty quick, and then just went straight back. It's dropping in class here today, so I like that. 2-year-old, and it was not overly well bet, but it was bet okay out of the first time starter in a field of 9. And when you look at some of the workouts that the horses put on, it's definitely improved from its previous workouts. So I got a feeling you're going to see a better effort out of Fairy Carey today. And just that's not the 7 though. I kind of tipped my hand on my nest horse there. But for me, this is the one long shot I fear.
Okay.
I know you did have it, but you also, but one other thing here, it did show that a little early pace in there, Terry, but it's getting a 10-pound weight break relative to most other horses.
Yeah, I did notice that that's a big break too. 10 pounds off is pretty darn.
And one other thing about this race, it's a lot of 2-year-olds in this race, Terry.
Yeah,
and there's quite a few of them that are like June, August. The 7 horse is a March horse, so this horse is 3 or 4 months older than some other horses. So I know it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you're talking about 2-year-old horses, a 3 or 4 month age difference is a big difference. So you got the bigger horse, likely bigger, stronger, more mature horse that's carrying 10 less pounds.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. So, okay, well, I'll go with that. So my next pick would be number 9, Lace Revolution. Ran a good second on the dirt. It's coming in from Mountaineer, which, like you said, may or may not be good, but I do like its workouts. It's had some pretty good workouts, and so anyway, that's it's been in the money 3 out of 6 times.
Yeah, so I agree with you. That's another horse that's shown some early pace there, Terry. The one thing that we're lacking here is, as I mentioned before, is a little bit of an inside, because this race in distance does tend to favor horses on the inside. So the question is, do you prefer the 1 horse with your friend Smokin' Joe Talamo? He's not scratched, right?
No, the 1 horse is in.
Or the 2 horse, Millionaire Waltz. So Dirty Nelly, who is Joe Talamo's ride, is dropping in class, making the second start for trainer Douglas Danner, who has won 2 out of 8 with horses making its second start. That first race last time out on the all-weather track at Turf Paradise was pretty brutal, Terry.
Yeah, it was. I have that as my 3rd pick. So if I was going to take a horse, even though it's in the inside, I would basically take the 9. So
you would take well, we have the 9. We have room for 1 more.
Oh, okay. Well, then the 1's fine with me, because that's my 3rd pick.
So where did you have the 2 ranked?
Let me see here. Go to my sheet here. Yeah, number 2 was actually my 4th pick. So
between those 2, which would you rather take? Because I look at this, the last race, Dirty Nelly ran a speed figure of 48, had early pace figures a little bit better than the 2 horse, but not much better. So they both ran the same pace. The 2 horse, though, Terry, did run a little bit faster in terms of a 6 furlong number than the Dirty Nelly horse did, and should improve in its second start off a layoff. And if you look at the workouts are comparable as well.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So you got everything is comparable. Joe Talamo's probably done better. Well, him and Edgar Morales are both winning at 15%. The trainer favors not much, because neither one of them has really run very much down there. So I don't see much of a difference between the 2 horse and the 1 horse, except one has twice as good odds.
Yeah. Well, you mean the 2 does?
Yeah, the 2 is 10-1. The 1 is 5-1.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like you have a sense of who the 1 is.
Well, let's take the better odds.
Okay, I agree with you. And they're both February horses, so I feel like they're 2 of the older horses in the field. So if you like the 1, so Terry and I are going to go with the 2 because we like the better odds. But if you like Joe Talamo over Edgar Morales, then I would suggest taking the 1 horse. But there is our pick. And again, I would also encourage people to look at these, not just because of the sequence for pick 4s, but also to consider things like exactas, trifectas, because even though yesterday we missed the pick 4 at the end because we switched the 2 to the 8, I did because I'm an idiot. But in any case, I think we had the superfecta and the trifecta in the first leg, Terry.
We
with our
did.
4 picks. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we had 3 picks and then we had one off to the side. So that would have been a superfecta, I think. If I remember correctly, we do so many of these, I forget from one day to the next which one we had them on. So just quickly to run through race 5, we like the 5, 6, 7, and 10. Race 6, because there are only 6 horses in this field, so we felt like that was the best leg to limit to 3. We like the 1, the 5, and the 6. Race number 7, the 1, 2, 8, and 10. Race number 8, the 2, the 7, 8, and 9 with a real long price in there with the 7. So let's hope that 7 finds the winner's circle, Terry, if we have the other 3. And on the side, if there are some scratches, those horses you see on the right-hand side are horses that we would substitute in the event one of those horses is out.
That's right.
All right. It's almost a miracle we've gotten this far, Terry. I feel like based upon the morning that I had today. Let's take a look at our hot dog pick fours, Terry, how you bet them and how I bet them.
Okay.
I felt like with these deep fields, this was a very difficult hot dog pick 4 because the first race you have the maiden races, the last race you have the maiden race, you got first-time starters, all sorts of different things. But let's take a look at how you did it, and let's take a look at how I did. Here's your pick 4, and there's mine, Terry. How do you like them?
Well, yeah, in the race 5, I took the 6 and the 10. The race 6, I went with the 1, 3, 5. Race 7, 1, 2, 3. And the race 8, 9. So
we kind of went differently. Me and the maidens, I put the little bit more depth on the outsides and a little less depth on the insides.
Mm-hmm.
And the only ticket that can get us, Terry, where we're both winners, is the 5 in the first, the 6 in the first leg, the 5 in the second leg, the 2 in the third leg, and the 8 and the 9. So we have 4 possibilities to come home.
That's right.
Actually, absolutely. 2 possibilities to come home. Whew. I get to exhale now, Terry. Did I forget anything?
I don't think so. I think you did just fine.
Yeah, minus my computer. One quick thing today. Today's free track over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet is Fairgrounds, so it's a pretty good track, right?
Yeah.
If you head on over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet today, you will see in our list, here is the free track of the day is the Fairgrounds. All you need to do is register, click there, and you're done. Doesn't cost you anything. And hopefully we do pretty well today. Yesterday, as I mentioned at Delta Downs, out of their top 4 selections for every race, there's a potential payout of $1,903 with a $352 superfecta using our top 4 picks only. We're not like other folks where if we had 3 of our picks and any other horse fits in there that qualifies. No, it's only our top 4 picks. Paid $382.
That's a good and I'll tell you right now.
So now, Terry, I get to exhale and head on over to the store and spend a few $100s more today than I was expecting to spend when I woke up to get a new computer. Hopefully, I will have it up and running by the time we get back tonight. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we will have track announcer Peter Aiello from Gulfstream Park. They have, I think, 4 or 5 big races this Saturday. So we'll be discussing 3 of them, which will be fun. Pete will give us some insights on what's happening at Gulfstream Park, the way you might think about handicapping there based upon track angles. He's going to share with us which horses he thinks look the best in the races we're going to cover. And he's a funny guy, so it should be a good time.
It should be, yeah. I liked him last time we had him on the show, so.
I liked him too because I hit a $5,000 trifecta that day.
That's right.
So it's been downhill since then, all the way to the point where my computer doesn't want to work today, Terry.
I know.
So this is the bottom, we hope. All right. Terry and I will be back along with Sean, maybe Tom. Tom might have some conflicts tonight. It'll be at 9:30 Eastern time right here on Horse Racing Radar TV, or you can catch us on the on Facebook at either Horse Race Today or Racing Radar. Check us out on Twitter too at Horse Race Today. If you like what you saw, please subscribe here on YouTube. We're just a few away from 600. We really want to get to 1,000. So tell your friends about us so we can get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We'd greatly appreciate you sharing that with us and your friends. And of course, Terry, we hope you have a fantastic Thursday and that my pick for a new computer, Terry, ends up in the
winner's circle.
Yes, along with all of our picks today. Everybody, hopefully you'll have a better Thursday than I've had so far. Have a fantastic afternoon.